Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about dynamics, specifically about momentum and Newton's law of motion in AS level physics. My name is Tony Hidayat and I will be guiding you through this topic, all aligned with topic 3, subtopic 3.1 of the Cambridge syllabus for examination in 2025 to 2027. We will explore important concepts and solve some problems along the way. Let's get started. Our first learning objective is to understand that mass is the property of an object that resists change in motion. Mass is the property of an object that resists changes in its motion, a concept known as inertia. In simple terms, the greater the mass of an object, the more it resists being accelerated or decelerated. This is why it's harder to push a heavy object compared to a light one. Think of it this way. It's much easier to push a tennis ball than a truck because the truck has more mass and therefore more inertia. Mass is directly linked to how much force is needed to change the object's motion. Sometimes it also refers to the law of inertia. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. We may also say the law of inertia as Newton's first law of motion, and we can write it down as sigma F equals to 0. It means that if the total force or the resultant force equals to 0, so there are two possibilities of the object. First, maybe the object stays at rest, or maybe the object is still moving in constant speed. Our second learning objective is to recall F equals to m times a and solve problem using it, understanding that acceleration and resultant force are always in the same direction. Next, let's talk about Newton's second law of motion. The acceleration of an object as produced by a net force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force in the same direction as the net force and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. It is expressed as the equation sigma F equals to m times a. This means that the force acting on an object is equal to its mass times its acceleration. The key point here is that force and acceleration always point in the same direction. So if you apply a force on an object, it will accelerate in that direction. Take a look at this diagram of a car. If the car has a mass of 1000 kg and accelerates at 2 meters per second square, the force needed to make it move is sigma F, or F equals to m times a. M is 1000, a is 2, so 1000 times 2 is 2000 Newton. This means the car needs a force of 2000 newtons to accelerate at that rate. Our third learning objective is to define and use linear momentum as the product of mass and velocity. Now let's move on to momentum, which is a measure of how much motion an object has. Linear momentum is defined as the product of an object's mass and velocity, so the equation for momentum is P equals to m times v. V for momentum in Newton second or kilogram meter per second, m for mass in kilogram, and v for velocity in meter per second. Here is an example with a car. If the car has a mass of 1000 kg and is traveling at 10 meters per second, its momentum is P equals to m times v. P equals to 1000 times 10. So P, or momentum, will be 10,000 kg/meter per second. Momentum is a vector quantity, meaning it has both magnitude and direction. This means that both the speed and direction of an object influence its momentum. Our fourth learning objective is to define and use force as rate of change of momentum. Let's see this equation. We start from the equation coming from Newton's second law. F equals to mass times acceleration. And for the acceleration, we can expand it to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. And then we can times the v and u to the m. So we got this mass times final velocity minus mass times initial velocity over time taken. Mass times velocity, as we know before, it's equal to momentum because it's final velocity, so it becomes final momentum. And also this one, because mass times initial velocity, it will become initial momentum. So here we have final momentum minus initial momentum over time taken. So at the top here, we have final momentum minus initial momentum, which is its change in momentum. So here we have a formula that shows the relation between force and change in momentum over time. So we can say that actually force is rate of change of momentum. According to Newton's second law, force can be also understood as the rate of change of momentum. This means that when a force is applied to an object, it changes the object's momentum over time. The equation we use here is F equals to delta P over delta T, where delta P is the change in momentum and delta T is the time over which the change happens. The greater the force, the faster the momentum changes. So for the Newton's second law, we may also state that the resultant force acting on an object is directly proportional to the rate of change of the linear momentum of that object. We may also take a note that the resultant force and the change in momentum are in the same direction. Our fifth learning objective is to state and apply each of Newton's laws of motion. We have discussed the first and the second law. Here we are only focusing on the third law. Newton's third law states, for every action force, there is an equal and opposite reaction force. This means if you push on something, it pushes back with the same force in the opposite direction. In mathematical expression, we may write F action equals to negative F reaction. It shows that the magnitude of F action and the F reaction are the same. However, the direction is different because F action is positive here and the F reaction is negative. In our first example, we have a swimmer pushing off the water. When the swimmer applies a force on the water pushes back with an equal and opposite force, propelling the swimmer forward. Let's assume the swimmer pushed with a force of 150 Newton against the water. According to the Newton's third law, the water pushed back with exactly the same force of 150 Newton in the opposite direction. This reaction force is what allows the swimmer to accelerate and move through the water. It also applies in the same way in the space shuttle. Our sixth learning objective is to describe and use the concept of weight as the effect of a gravitational field on a mass and recall that the weight of an object is equal to the product of its mass and the acceleration of free fall. Finally, let's talk about weight. Weight is the force of gravity acting on an object's mass. The weight of an object can be calculated using the formula W equals to m times g, where m is the mass of the object and g is the acceleration due to gravity, approximately 9.81 meter per second square on Earth. Remember, weight is a force and it changes depending on the strength of the gravitational field while mass remains constant. In this image, the box has the same mass in each location, but its weight changes depending on the strength of the gravitational field. On the moon, where gravity is weaker, the box weighs less. In space, without gravity, the box has no weight at all, but its mass remains constant everywhere. That concludes our discussion on momentum and Newton's law of motion in AS Level Physics. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more physics content. Also, remember to follow us on Instagram @pengajarfisika for more updates and learning resources. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.